Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? In a world quick to judge, one book dares to reveal the hidden cost of silence. Discover Holy but Harmful: The Silent Sin of Judgment, How Hidden Judgments Destroy Relationships and Damage Lives by Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. The Amazon #1 bestseller that's transforming the way we understand ourselves and the way we see others. Pick up the companion workbook to uncover your own hidden judgments and learn how to break free from them. Available now on Amazon and at fine bookstores worldwide.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back to USA Global TV and Radio, where we proudly provide world-class education, inspiration, and hope. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and I am the author of Holy But Harmful: The Silent Sin of Judgment, and also the workbook. So why are we doing this show, and what is it all about? Judgment is all around us. We are judging every day, all the time, including me. So the reason why I started this show, as well as wrote my book and the workbook, is so we can be more aware of when we are judging other people or when we're being judged, and how we can actually react in an unemotional way. So everything is based on 3 questions. Is it true? Is it kind? And is it necessary? Today, we have a wonderful guest, someone who has been here with us before on other shows. And I love when people come back and share their knowledge and expertise. And we're going to be looking at cybersecurity. We're going to be looking about what it teaches us about human behavior. So who is our guest? Our guest is Charles Breakfield, and he is a techno geek, as he would say. He's also a cybersecurity expert, and he is now a full-time author. Let's welcome him to the program and start our conversation. Charles, welcome.
Jacalyn, thanks for having me in.
Hi, it's good to have you here. We don't see you right now, which is interesting because we just saw you backstage. So I'm not sure where you are, but I see that you were with us. So Charles, for people who are joining us for the first time, you are a full-time author, but you've had a very successful career that actually led so many examples and so many instances and so much experience that you're able to translate it through your written work. Tell us about your background.
Well, boy, I don't know what's the matter with the camera. He says he's on, but he's not paying attention. Oh, great! Now you're gone too. Looks like
I'm still here.
Oh, you're still there? Okay,
I'm still here.
All righty. In the cyber world, I did voice engineering for Fortune 50, Fortune 100 companies, and the issue with it is that it has to be secure. You can't just, here's how it works. Okay, fine. Can you make it secure? Because the bad people are always after a way to get in. I liked your 3 questions up front. Is it nice? Is it kind? Is it factual? Well, in my world, the answer is no, no, and no. Okay, that's where we start. And so it was a good proving ground for knowledge learning experiences, and the big thing that we always we rely upon, trust. And that's one of the things that gets. I guess it's a subtlety. We all have that same prejudice. We want to believe. We want to trust. I want to trust that. My hair is messed up. You'll say, psst, 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 Charles, fix your hair. I know it's a silly example, but I would trust. There's a certain kind of trust that I have that I think is important, and we all cultivate it. What's really terrifying and really sad, depressing, I guess, is when it's used and it's weaponized against you. And by that, here's what I'm saying. A lot of the attacks that I see leveled against my particular business is trying to cultivate a relationship out of thin air, but using all the information that you can gather using AI. Find everything on Charles Breakfield, and let's put together a compelling statement saying, Jesus, Charles, you're my best friend. We want to be able to help you. You could use more reviews. What a wonderful series. Blah 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 blah. Shine me on. I love it. I suck up that stuff, and it's a lacan. And when you get down to it, it's like, okay, but if you'll just send me, $3,500 for my friend, my inventory of 2,000 my best friends, and we'll take care of all those problems of marketing that you seem to be struggling with. Compelling. I want to believe. I want to believe it so much, and it's much like Odysseus in the Odyssey book by Homer, where they strap him to the mast and they won't let him go. He has wax in all their ears, but he wants to hear the song of the sirens as they go past the island. And if they stop to listen, they'll crash on the rocks and we all be killed. So he's the only one that listens to it. And so I've kind of taken upon that role of myself to examine a lot of those attack vectors that depend upon the social media, social engineering of trust. Let me weaponize it and use it against you.
Charles, you brought up so many good points there, because I think as entrepreneurs, as business owners, we always are looking for people who can help us grow our brand, grow our business, and people take advantage of that because now, as you mentioned, as you're a public figure, I'm a public figure, there's all kinds of information available about us and people can use that against us. And yet I know for me, and I would think something similar for you, we believe in the goodness of people, right? We believe that people are generally good. And so my father used to say that was a major flaw of mine, that I trusted everyone. And I've gotten burned a number of times, but I'm thinking it might be a good idea. Oh, there you are. You're back. Hello. I'm thinking that in us having this show today, we're bringing to light some scenarios that other people may experience, whether they've experienced or not, or might be forthcoming. And one thing I'd like to just share with you and get your thoughts about this, because this has happened to me as well as some other people, and I don't want it to happen to you or anyone else, but I was actually contacted by a legitimate business that's in Beverly Hills, California. Of course, you hear Beverly Hills and you think, oh, okay, that's... So they wanted to actually get my books into bookstores. And not only that, they're going to do social media marketing. And not only that, they're going to get me a book signing at Waterstones in London. And of course, all of it turned out to be fake. I actually went to London to Waterstones and they never heard of me. And so they got my money. And then they just silently went away. They just disappeared. No answering the phones, no emails, anything. So my question to you is, knowing that you're an author and you're in the public domain, what criteria are you now using to evaluate offers that are coming into you from the outside world?
Well, and that's the part of me that I can't quite break that habit, which is, let me hear your pitch. Go ahead and if this sounds like if it's a shabby pitch, you can see it pretty quickly. All right, you're like, okay, this is what you want to do. I'll do tons of neat stuff for you. I'll just send me money. Okay, those are easily discounted. The ones that are more insidious is where they prey upon actual information that's true, and they distort it to be able to make it sound compelling. But there's all these contextual clues of, okay, their email address. They've got their name and several numerals after it. Huh? Peculiar names, not John Smith, but peculiar names that shouldn't need a number. But the number designates the attack that they're levering, and that might be hundreds of people that they're trying to do, but they have to track that. And if they send back if you say, yeah, I'm interested, okay, and they call me Bill, I know it's bogus. That's those are the kind of things that they do. One of the worst ones is where they actually use a real person, like they did against you, Jacalyn. They use their email address. They use their link for a published book, and this all looks good. And I was at a book signing in Denver 2 weeks back, and I saw that person's book on the shelf. I'm not going to tell you who it is because he's being hacked, and I'm going to have to send a note to him saying, "Do you know your information is being weaponized to be able to convince somebody?" And it went right back to, they said, it sounded so good. I said, "Yeah, tell me more." Oh, by the way, if you want to do the kind of stuff I've got, go to this company and they'll handle all your marketing for you. And I went, wow, that was a good one. You almost caught me on that one. But you have to be able to, and being the techno geek that I am, and I'm always questioning, looking. I don't understand, why would you do this out of thin air? And the answer is, he's doing it to hundreds, maybe thousands of people, and they're tracking it back to a spreadsheet that says, okay, here's a sucker we can exploit, and once the money's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, that's the truth. In fact, yesterday I heard one of our team members, all of her bank accounts were hacked and all of her money's gone.
Ooh.
And I think to myself, how can a person live with themselves knowing that they're taking someone's hard-earned money? And in the scenario where I mentioned to what happened to me, two things stand out to me now that did not stand out to me before. I kind of was questioning it, but now I'm kind of like, you know what? That was a red flag. The first was, the guy is located in Beverly Hills, but he can only contact me on WhatsApp. And of course, with WhatsApp, there's no voicemail. It just rings and rings and rings. And so he would never get back to me. It was when he would reach out to me. And then the second thing is that the company only took money from a wire transfer from my bank, and their bank was in New York. And so I said, well, do you have locations in New York? No, we're expanding. Well, why is your bank in New York? Well, we started, it's some like convoluted, which now it stands out as a red flag.
Exactly. Yeah. Whenever I get picked on for somebody, and this usually happens on LinkedIn. Sorry, LinkedIn. But that's where some of the predators hang out, looking for people that have got good traction. They're funny, good looking like me, and what they do is it's usually a very compelling female figure, me being male, and usually young, and they have a very short resume, but they like, oh, I need to talk to somebody. I need this. I want to, you look like a good person. And they play that social engineering trust card to be able to get you to that point where they say, can you, are you on WhatsApp? That's a dead giveaway. They're a predator looking to be able to fleece you if you're on WhatsApp. So I always put back, oh gosh, no, I can't, because that's for young people. And they always say the same thing. Oh, age is just a number, and it's a stock answer. So there's like five people that do that all the time, but they do it across the planet.
Well, thanks for sharing that about WhatsApp. I think that the other thing that's interesting about WhatsApp is I'm a peace ambassador. And so we have training every Saturday, but everyone meets on WhatsApp. That's like their main point of communication, I guess, because it's free. And so I don't engage in any of the conversations because I don't know. They start with one group and then they make other groups from it. So there's like 10 different groups and I don't know what's going on. So to me, that's kind of a red flag.
Yeah.
But I feel that another area that, especially on Facebook, we've had team members here who have been victims of this, is cryptocurrency. They read what the person's posting and maybe they've put they're going through some hard times or something's going on and it's a young woman and it turns out that it's all fake, but it's a young woman and, I can help you and I'm here for you. And then eventually I need money. So can you please send money? Eventually, I don't know how many times they interacted, but it's a red flag. So what about the legitimate people? Are there legitimate people who are reaching out on LinkedIn or Facebook or other places? And how can we ascertain very quickly? You mentioned that, you have some telltale signs now, but for people who they really have no idea, maybe they're lonely, maybe they're just starting their business and they really are interested in any followers they can get.
And that's something you have to recognize in yourself. Are you vulnerable? Let's be fair here. I mean, I'm an indie publisher. I've got several books, and I think, I should have Netflix after me, for all the stuff that I've got teed up, and it's all current and relevant and accurate, and fictional characters, and and then somebody hit me 2 weeks ago, and it was, we'd like this book you just released. We'd like to be able to take it to Tubi. What can we? And it was an innocuous email, and I started. I always look at if you don't have a website on there, you don't count. You're just your client. He had a website, but he was somebody else's website, and so I went there. Like, okay, this looks legitimate. Is his name? He says he's a director. Is he on the about this organization? Oh gosh, there's his name. Okay, good. But it's a dead giveaway when they, sign their name wrong on email correspondence. And so I don't want to give away all the secrets, because anybody that's a pirate, a thief, criminal listening to this program, I don't think you have that kind of clientele, Jacalyn. I'm not accusing that, but I don't want to teach the bad guys what they don't know.
No, I agree with you. I appreciate that. And, Charles, it's interesting. Just yesterday, I received an email from what looked to be a legitimate Gmail account, meaning that there was actually a name and then at gmail.com, and it was coming from one of my clients, allegedly asking for me to send them another pay stub. And I thought that's interesting because I have no employees. So I texted my client and I said, I know that you're just about to start your show. Are you actually emailing me from a Gmail account? And she said, no, I am not. And then they wrote back to me 2 more times. I'm still waiting to hear from you. So they think they're getting really, their masquerades are showing up in different ways. They're wearing different masks, but they're still criminals.
Yeah. And that's always the proper approach. No matter what you're hit with, verify it, check and see, does this individual actually exist? If they say they're with this company, and they've gotten cagey about using other people's organizations. I actually reached out to one in Florida. I said, "Did you know I've been invited to show up and for this book signing and book club at your hotel?" They sent back a note and said, OMG, really? We've never heard of this person. Thank you for alerting us to this nonsense, because we're going to take action against whoever's doing this. So reach out through a different channel to verify. Did you send this? Are you really, do you know what's being asked on your behalf using your name and credentials? And 9 times out of 10, it's, wow, I did not know. Thank you. I even went to the FBI with one that was so horrific. I said, "This is horrible." Somebody said, "Here, I've got this inheritance for this guy. He's dead. I'm the executor of his estate, and I can't find anybody. So, hey, help me get this wrestled through the litigation, and I'll give you half of it." And I went, "Huh? That's not a fiduciary activity. I've been on that side of the fence, actually doing that for somebody else's, and when they decide that they're deceased, and you don't hand out money like that to somebody you've never met." And sure enough, when I went and double checked it, he's a vice president for the big company out of the UK. All of it shined up just almost perfectly, except for the few extra details I covered. I went, "Gotcha." And I turned it over to the feds. FBI actually has a place that says, "Hey, if you've been scammed, let us know." So here's one that's in play. I said, "But you didn't lose any money? What are you contacting us for?" And I went, "Oh, really? You don't want to, slaughter these people while they're trying to rip somebody off? You want to wait until after they've been stolen from? Excuse me, can I talk to your mommy, please? I mean, this is wrong."
Yeah. Yeah. And I love the fact that you took the extra step. That's really important. I know for me, when I actually was in London in June, and I was at Fort and Mason, the department store, for afternoon tea. And I thought, you know what, there's a Waterstones. I'm supposed to be doing a book signing on Saturday. I'm going to walk down there and just talk to the manager. And I looked around, there was no signage. There was nothing that I was going to be doing a book signing. And so I got the manager and then the head of the events team. And I emailed the guy in Beverly Hills, and there were like 6 people in Beverly Hills. It wasn't just one. And so one of them got back to me and I said, "Well, I'm standing here with the manager and the head of events here at Waterstones. And they said that they've never heard of me and they have no email." And they continued the charade. And finally, the manager said, "Sir, do you have absolute proof that this author standing in front of me has been given a time slot at this store, at this location?" And it was dead silence. And the guy said, "No, I do not." And he said, "So you basically just made this all up." And then the guy just hung up. And
Yeah.
so what I recommend to people is anytime you get a recommendation from someone, because this was a recommendation, do your own due diligence to make sure that you check it out. And Charles, what you were talking about, these cross-checking things, go on LinkedIn. By the way, on LinkedIn, I've also had a number of outreaches from sheiks, how do you say it? Sheiks, like
Yeah.
princes, and they
Yeah.
have 100,000 followers, and it turns out to be completely fake.
Yeah. It's all highly engineered and polished for somebody who does due diligence. But again, they're preying on your trust. And if they can, I mean, even the banks always say, "We will never text message you saying, 'Hey, your bank account's been raided. Give us a call.'" They won't send an email. They won't do that kind of stuff. Click here in the email to go do this, or click on this link on your. Don't do that. Go to a known real number for your bank, call them and say, "Hi," or go to the bank physically and say, "Hey, look, I got these clowns saying that there's a problem with my bank account." Again, out of band verification is what we call it. You don't use the same channel that they contacted you with, because that's where they drop junk on your machine. And then they really got you in a difficult position, because now they own whatever piece of property you thought was yours. They get to run it. They get to export it, and they'll actually drop code on your cell phone that will let them pirate your bank account and send it to wherever you want to. So I've never been a big fan about putting my banking account on the phone, because frankly, I've never trusted it. Yeah, me, who's been in telecom for 25 years. I mean, go figure, right?
Charles, I want to just touch on something in this area. So my bank account was hacked last month before I was going back to Europe. And I went into the bank, and the teller said to me that his account was also hacked, and so were a couple of other people. And he said what happened was, in their case, the three of them, they had gone on a lunch break and they went somewhere that they used their debit cards, and the tapping area was not, you couldn't tap, so they had to put their card into the reader. And he said that was how they captured their information. So he said, we'll give you a temporary card, which of course had no chip. So I ended up not using it, because using your debit card when you're traveling internationally isn't good anyway, I don't think. But anyway, my point is, what are your thoughts about what he shared, that when you have a card with a chip, you should only be tapping it as opposed to inserting it or swiping it?
Well, I prefer the tapping because, but even that's vulnerable. There are a lot of bogus card readers that what people do was they'll, particularly in high traffic areas, lunch breaks, where they've got a lot of people going in and out trying to get lunch done, and it's easy to be able to insert a secondary reader. It's a real thin piece of film into the slot that actually captures all of the credit card information, because you're gonna enter the PIN, you're gonna do all this stuff, and that's like that goes into a nice big database where they sell credit cards for, get this, $20 a piece in blocks of 1,000. The other problem with only tapping stuff, you or if they tell you to turn on NFC, near field communications. Your phone is actually pretty cool. It's got some great technology on it that is nicely pirated by people wandering by you in a 6-foot radius. And if you've got NFC on, and it's a setting on your phone, turn it off. Because what it does is it's beaconing to anybody that wants to be able to connect. And if I've connected and I know how to be able to prowl your phone and look for banking information, guess what I'm going to take? The banking information. And yes, I'm going to drain your account. And that's the other way they do it. So near field communications, you turn it on when you need it, you turn it off when you're done. So you're not in there, your phone isn't beaconing saying, hey, come rip me off.
So NFC is the setting that we need to look for on our phone.
Yeah. You only turn it on when you want it for communications. If you're using Square for, like, let's say you're at a show and you're trying to collect information, make sales, collect the dollars from people. I need Bluetooth on and need the NFC. It's like, but leaving them on also makes you vulnerable to somebody who knows how to be able to drive by, steal. That's the way I would categorize it.
So it sounds like this type of criminal activity has expanded. I know in airports, you always hear, if you're on the Wi-Fi, don't do any banking or anything with your personal information. But now people can just be within 6 feet of us. So it could take place anywhere.
Yeah. It just, again, if you're too trusting, thank you. That's the attack vector that people, and that takes us back to the topic we had right at the beginning of the show, weaponizing trust against you. That definitely qualifies as an unconscionable sin, in my opinion, Jacalyn.
Thank you, Charles. And you mentioned that you had been in telecom for 25 years. I think I was in telecom for 15 years, but you've actually migrated to do something that someone like me, who's an author, and so many authors we interview here never get to do, which is become a full-time author. So can you tell us how you made that journey to where you are today?
Well, it actually wasn't quite what I had in mind. We during the COVID shutdown, where you work from home, and I full disclosure, I have worked from home since 1998. But I've worked for global companies. I've been around the planet, doing stuff that people needed fixed, education, training, whatever. But I always worked from home because the logic of going into the office never made sense early on in the early years of the internet. And so, fast forward to 2023, the world woke up and said, "Hey, it's okay. Everybody go back to the office." And I went, "Excuse me." No, I just got my puppy dog here, and he's nice and comfortable having me close by, and I respectfully decline was my response. It took them a little over 4 months for them to really lose their temper and trash me. So I said, "Okay, well, we'll do it the other way around. I'll do what I want, not you," and that's what I've been doing. So we're now up to 30 published books. We like going on podcasts. I love going to book signings and hanging out with the people. So tell me about your book. Oh, that really jazzes me. I don't have to worry about going through an email or a phone call or dealing with somebody bogus. I can see it in their eyes. They want to hear. They want to know. And they always want to talk to the author, not the marketing dweeb, but somebody who actually put the words to paper. So when it was offered to me to either come in or go away, I said, "I win. I'm going to go away. I'm going to do what I want," and that's what I've done.
I absolutely love that. You and I have that in common too, because I always worked from home when I was in corporate, and we had a new VP come in and he said, "Everyone's coming into the office." I said, "No, I'm not coming into the office."
Good for you. Good for you. Yeah.
But I also want to thank you, because on the film and music show, when you were with Dr. Chan, you mentioned publishing at sea. And so I got involved with Dr. Judith Briles. And so I will be on that cruise, even though I am not a cruiser. I don't like cruising at all. I hate cruising, Charles, if I have to tell you, but I'm glad that you'll be there.
I'll be there. Well, we'll escort you. It's a great opportunity to be able to hang out with 5,000 of your closest friends. Okay. I mean, there it is. It's an amazing set of circumstances, and then getting off the boat and then seeing stuff. What I really like about the cruising at sea is that you unpack your bags and it stays there for 10 days, and then you pack up all the dirty clothes and head for home. So you're not moving from hotel to hotel, unpacking, repacking, which is tedious. But then they've got the point where they got all of the water slides and everything to be able to. Don't forget to bring your swimsuit and your floaties and your goggles, because there's a lot of things to be able to do for outdoors, because it's right there in the Caribbean. And then they've got shows at night, so they really basically it's like a small city, and the weather's nice and calm, and usually it's just very pleasant. So. I don't see how you can't not have a good time, to be honest.
Well, fingers crossed. I went on an Alaskan cruise with my mother, a trip that I earned when I was in corporate, and it was really bad. And the ship was rocking back and forth, and they were handing out bags if you got sick. And that's my memory. But tell us a little bit about the role that you're going to be playing in terms of publishing at sea.
Yeah, well, and that's one of the things. I've got 3 sessions I'm going to be training on. Here's stuff that I've. Okay, I'm self-taught. I know how to be able to build videos with using an AI engine and of my books, and I'm teaching people how to be able to do that. How to be able to enter some of the subtleties for Amazon in their A+ area. I'll be teaching about that, and then security was the third one that the Dr. Briles has asked me to be able to train on. So I got 3 sessions I'll be able to offer. So I expect that you'll find some interesting tidbits on the show.
Fantastic. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Let's talk about your actual collection of books. So the Enigma series, what is this specifically about? And then I'll ask you an additional question.
Okay. So there's actually 3 series overall. The first one is the Enigma series, which is book 1 through 12. And this is where we explore, the background on the books is that this is the third generation of cyber good guys in today's world that are fighting the cyber thugs, and each one of the books has a different attack vector. So identity theft is where we start, and then battlefield communications, under siege by multiple bad actors. They get their start, and we did a historical fiction book, sort of the prequel, called Out of Poland. And what it does is it sets the stage for three Polish patriots to be able to hit back at the Germans after they've invaded their country in 1939. They steal the Enigma machine from them and send it to the Brits for being able to decrypt it, break it down, figure out how it works. But they make a copy and they build their own information dynasty, which is the R group. And they're the good guys. And then as they age by book 12, and they say, well, okay, we're done with this. We're going to turn the reins over to our heirs. And that's Enigma Heirs, book 1, 2, and 3. That's the fourth generation of people that you want on your side when you're fighting the bad guys. And then we took a quick jaunt off into the at the request of the underground authors, just to come join us and write some cozy mysteries for us. And so we had a lot of fun doing 4 different books. And the last one we did came out in August, called The Flight Enigma, an international espionage mystery that has 2 of our favorite characters, Juan Jr., also known as JJ, and his bride, Jo. She's a international model, a high-powered model out of Brazil, and they like going to this place called Magnolia Bluff to be able to get away from their adoring fans and just kind of recharge their batteries. But unfortunately, they keep bumping into some sort of mischief problem. Somebody gets murdered, or somebody's trying to engineer the theft of high-tech technology for stealth used in the F-35 fighter plane. And that's that we travel through all of those disadvantages that are forced on to the good guys, and they have to learn how to be able to beat the cyber thugs, and that's the main theme through most of the books that we have.
Well, congratulations on all your success and the fact that you keep showing up and putting out new content as recently as August. How much time do you have to spend researching? I mean, I know you have an extensive background in these areas, but as new things are brought out to the market when it comes to AI, for example, and other technologies, do you have to spend a lot of time researching?
Well, I'm always poking around looking for stuff that's interesting, Jacalyn. I just have that kind of thirsty mind. It's like, well, okay, how does this stuff work? I like reading about the nuclear fusion project that they got in southern France right now. That was hugely cool. Reading about how they're going to be able to bring us a plasma cloud up to 25 million degrees to be able to start generating power. And that's, I'm shortening because there's a lot more to it than that. And the AI engines, how are they being used? I mean, we've got I've got a 1-2 book 11 and 12 is all about the AI wars that we wrote about back in 2017. So we're looking at trending new things, and then we want to revisit that and say, okay, how did those predictions turn out? What do we learn? Wow, and what's the new attack vector? Because as we started off at the top of the hour, all the people that are now using AI to be able to hack into your emotional armor and ruin and get your trust so they can steal money from you. Those are pretty easy things to be able to have postulated up front, but at the same time, what else have we missed? So yeah, we're always researching, always looking what's new over with Anamorphic or Gemini or with Copilot. I test that stuff on a regular basis because I'm usually poking at it, seeing what it'll do and where the problems are.
Thank you so much, Charles. And, I don't think I've ever asked you this, but do you run master classes or workshops?
On certain things, yeah. It's if it's something I'm passionate about, it's really easy for me to get overamped on it, and I have to be brought down sometimes. Particularly I'm working with Dr. Briles. She'll say, Charles, you're speaking at 200 words a minute, and we can only understand 50. Okay, so can you lighten up just a little bit so quit, no more coffee for you, buddy. I mean, you're over the top.
Thank you for sharing that. And another area I just want to tap into, we're coming to the end of our show. I've seen a number of places on social media where they're asking if you want to take an IQ test, all kinds of different tests that they're putting out there. So I've clicked on a couple of them just to see, and I'm like, oh no, they're probably like stalking me now. But what should we be wary of when we see these kinds of advertisements on social media as well?
I'm going to, for me, I'm not going to, try and dictate to other people's disciplines, but for me, I got one where they said, "Hey, would you mind? We'll pay you. Okay, money. Money's good. Money's always good. We'll pay you for answering questions and helping us write." Helping this AI engine write. You don't have to know anything about AI, but because you're an author, because you know how to write, you know what sounds like it's written by a human being and what isn't. And I had to look at it and went, I don't really want to train an AI engine to be able to excel at what I've taken years to be able to put together. So I would caution, or at least advise people, look at what you're being asked to do. Contribute to a database. They're called LLMs, large language models. And the way they work is what they get put in and how they digest it. So the more information, the logic goes, the more information that they got that's legitimate, real, factual, and verifiable, okay, then the more that AI engine sounds like a human being, and that's a little disconcerting for me.
Absolutely. You bring up some great points there. So when we look at the topic, what cybersecurity teaches us about human behavior, Charles, how would you bring it all together for our audience?
The one thing that we never were able to defeat was the social engineering attribute for in the cyber world. Yeah, I can put firewalls up. I can put scanning. I can spend money till there's nothing left. But if there's people that are on the inside that says, "Sure, I'll give you my password. I know you're with the IT people, and you can get into the system and help me with my problem." The trust, the ambushing you with your own trust engine, things that you've been brought up. Okay, you can trust this person. You can be careful of this. Don't take candy from a stranger. That kind of stuff. Those are all compartmentalized, and they're reflex actions for most people. Nobody teaches you. Nobody has been teaching you. This is a cyber attack. This is where, if it sounds too good to be true, this is what they teach. We used to teach in finance. It probably is, and that's where you pull back and say, let's examine this from a logical standpoint. Pull your emotions aside and look at the logic. Why are they contacting you? What have you done to deserve this? If you're famous, I guess the famous people have this happen all the time. They probably have thick skin, and you can't get through to them. You have to get through to their agent to get to them, or their agent's agent, and so forth and so on. So we're back to trust. Your armor is only as strong as your trust abilities to reason with it. We all want to be trusted. We all want to trust, but this is not that world any longer.
Yeah, and I think it was Milton Friedman who said there's no such thing as a free lunch. There's a cost associated with everything. So what I really love about what you said, because it's part of what I teach when I teach people how to listen also, is to take the emotion out of it. Put it aside. I'll say to people, it's okay to get emotional about things, but then you have to have a boundary so that you can make rational, logical decisions. So if it seems too good to be true, believe me, because I've fallen for a few things since I started in business. And now I look back and go, oh my gosh, all the signs were there, but I was in a vulnerable place. I wanted it to work. I believed in the people. And, and here's another thing, just quickly putting out there. I really believe in the power of forgiveness. And I believe that people, if they want to, if they're sorry for what they did, they can change. But I've actually been burned a few times by people who they had demonstrated certain behavior in the past, and then enough time had gone by, and then they said that they had learned their lesson, but actually they had not.
They're trying to get you to trust them again. So we're back to that same problem. No, trust is something that might take years to be able to assemble, and seconds to break.
That's right. A reputation can be trashed in seconds. So
yeah.
Thank you for being here today. I really appreciate it. It's always a joy having you here. Please do come back. And for people who want to reach out to you, we do have your LinkedIn, your Facebook, your YouTube, your website. But who would you like to reach out, and what's the best way to do so? And then how do they get your books?
All of our books are available on Amazon. All of our books are available through Barnes & Noble. So we spend a lot of time making sure that the people who don't want to subsidize one or the other, they have a choice to be able to make their purchases. An ebook. We've also got an Audible format. I've got a spectacular. We just got a new win from our latest book that we had turned into an Audible. Derek Scholes is the voice of the Enigma series. We love the guy. Yeah, he's the only person I've ever seen who doesn't flinch when I say we've got 150 characters in the universe, and you got to memorize all it, because I bring him back. We bring him back now and again, and I want the same voice that you used back in book 4. So yeah, those are that's the latest book there, the Flight Enigma. That's a fun one, and then Enigma Factor. That's the first in the Enigma series that sets the stage and opened up a whole lot of fun discussions. The next one, Ransom Enigma. We got to. I love that book. I just that's Joe and JJ. They just built their dream home in Magnolia Bluff. They're having so much fun. They invite the town, and after the party's over, they find a ransom note saying, "Pay me what I want, and I won't tell anybody that you're a famous model hiding out." The Enigma Tracer, that gets us into the first book in Enigma Errors, where Gracie and her brother JJ have taken over the reins of the R group and the subsidiary CATS team. And like every young person, they're like, I've got this. I'm going to be able to do it, and until they don't, because they're up against a hardened criminal. Enigma Beyond, that's where I begin the AI Wars saga. That's I'll leave that one to the imagination. And then 2 more books in the Magnolia Bluff series. We get into human trafficking. We get into cryptocurrency being used, and that gets into one of my other favorite subjects. Is like, okay, how does the criminals plan to get away with the bad stuff? Well, unfortunately, there's a whole series of machinery that you can use in cryptocurrency to be able to get your ill-gotten goods and get out. So I'm always interested in how to be able to muddle that up and create a problem for the bad guys, and that's where the fun of the writing comes into place. We lost your voice.
It's good to see you smile, and congratulations, because you have an excellent memory. You were able to recite what all the books are about. So that was fantastic. Charles, any last words you'd like to leave with our audience before we sign off today?
Just visit us on our website. Take a look at the videos that we build for the books. We do it for other authors as well, so that we have an authors area to be able to showcase them. But the enigmaseries.com, that's where the links are to everything in our Enigma universe. Even some free downloads, things to be able to watch out for. Don't feed the fish. Some security tips and tricks that we put out there for free downloads. Just take what you want and use them to your digital protection.
Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and your expertise and your experience. It was great seeing you, and I look forward to having you back again soon.
Thank you, Jacalyn.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye.
Please do connect with Charles. If you look into the show notes, wherever it is you're watching, you'll see LinkedIn, Facebook, the website, Amazon, and just go ahead and connect, because Charles is here providing really valuable information, and he's here to help, as am I. So as we close out the show today, in case you're not aware, a little dream of mine came true. And basically through my friend, Dr. Madeline Chan, she said she saw a singer in me, and I always wanted to be a singer. But when I was just in London, I recorded my first single, and it's called Please Listen to What I Say. And Dr. Chan is actually singing in the chorus with me. So I don't have the file. I'm going to get it, but I'm going to let you watch a little clip that will give you some insight. And I'll see if I can get the actual file, because it's too big to keep here on StreamYard. Let's take a look.
Listen, babe, now, listen, babe, now. Listen, babe, now, listen, babe, now. Listen, babe, now, listen, babe, now.
Okay, there you have it. I was unable to upload the file because it's so large. So you can find this over on any of the places where they sell music. So Apple, iTunes, Spotify, as well as Amazon Music. Okay, thank you again for being here. Over to our sponsors and our next show, Iconic Women. We'll be right back. USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram-Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care: How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to TracyCramPerkins.com. Tracy Cram-Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.